Well, hey there, everybody. Happy Saturday night. Before we get started, I just want to double check on my audio. Sounds just fine. All right, guys. Well, it was another hot day. We hit 100 degrees for the 13th time so far this year, which we're nowhere near any records, that's for sure. But keep in mind, summer just started a few weeks ago. It's July 8th, 2023. First week of July in the books, and it was not bad. These last 7 days weren't that bad, y'all. We had some good rain every now and then, more clouds, and more importantly, more shade, which kept the highs in the 90s the last 3 to 4 days. Now, different story today, obviously, and a different story for the next 7 to 10 days in the forecast. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. But first, putting that on the screen, there we go. Feel free if you have any questions, guys, if you're traveling across the state or across the nation. Feel free to comment down below. And otherwise, here are today's numbers. 100, morning low at 78, average is 74 to 94. So that's the range for early July. By the end of the month, we're typically around 97. And the fact that we were at 100 degrees today, way above average, way above normal. And today's record stays in place from 1939 at 105 in San Antonio. Month to date rainfall is 0.13, only 13 droplets for the last several days. And speaking of 13, which I believe I have to change to 14 now. So yeah, we've had 2 weeks so far this year since the year started. And mainly it was last month that started the trend of triple digit heat. So before we talk about that, let me change that to 14. There we go. And look at the left-hand side of your screen. That shows the all-time highs, right? The years we've seen so much heat, and one of those years was last year, 2022. We hit 58 days at triple-digit heat, 100 degrees or hotter. Now, again, we're only at 14, but the fact and the forecast remains is a lot of heat. A heat wave is going to build in for this next forecast period, and it looks like we'll get another 7 to 10 days of triple-digit heat, at least as we progress through the month of July. First place is 2009 at 59 total days, so it shows you how hot those years were. And it's 8:18 at night. It's still in the middle to upper 90s, so man, it's cooking outside even as we approach sunset, which should be around the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Probably about 8:30 to 8:45 is the sunset here in the area. For our latitude, southeast winds at 15 miles an hour, so finally a breeze, right? So I think tonight will be decent, but it's still hot, and it's hot everywhere you go. For example, the Hill Country, lower 90s, Cotulla, Pearsall, upper 90s. No one at 100 at this hour, which is good to see, because that can happen a lot this time of year, where we are at like 10 o'clock at night and it's still in the triple digits. And then when you factor in the humidity, it can be a lot hotter than that. Which, by the way, southeast winds are at the surface around 10 to 15 miles an hour. So a little breeze out there, and we'll stay on that range of 10 to 20 through the overnight hours tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. Very similar in wind speed from the southeast for one direction, and then the speed around 10 to 20 miles an hour. Now, speaking of tomorrow, we already have a heat advisory issued by the Weather Service, meaning dangerous heat expected, and just expect this trend to continue because it's not going anywhere. These last several days, we have not been in any heat advisories, but tomorrow and Monday for sure. And then I would not expect, at least I do expect this trend to at least continue through next weekend because of where the heat high is going to move in and where exactly it's going to strengthen. That'll dictate more about how hot temperatures are going to be in the extended forecast. So heat advisory for tomorrow for San Antonio. It's Bexar County and surrounding counties as well. Radar, bone dry. We saw a few showers near Cuero and Victoria earlier today. Now it's just going to be dry, I guess humid, right? Humid and warm for the next several hours. It's not until probably about 9:30, 10 we drop into the 80s. So if you're about to get out, if you're getting out this evening, if you're going to dinner or anything you're doing, it's going to remain on the hotter side for here in the area. So get ready for that. Tomorrow's forecast up to the triple digits once again. Today we hit 100. Tomorrow will probably be at that, if not around 101 for tomorrow's official high to wrap up the weekend. Now here's the reason why. Here's the culprit and the main player in our weather department. It's just going to be so hot. And watch where this high pressure dome, this heat high, builds, strengthens, and positions itself through Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night. It's right over El Paso, West Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, where it typically is this time of year, right? And what that means is not much rain in the forecast and just more heat. Forecast highs on the order of 100 to 103 pretty much between Monday and next weekend, because that heat high doesn't look like it's going to break down anytime soon in the extended period through the middle of July. So here's a forecast in terms of dust. You've probably been hearing that a lot on social media. A little bit of dust across Florida for today and tomorrow, just creating hazy sunshine, lowered air quality, things like that. But this dry air, this pocket of Saharan dust will move across the Gulf in very low amounts, might I add. So as it moves near Texas by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, primarily between the coasts like Baffin Bay, Corpus Christi, Matagorda Bay, and Houston and Galveston. That's where it's going to be more dense in concentration, but otherwise just very small amounts of dust through tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday. In San Antonio, larger amounts and quantities of it the farther southeast you go towards the coast. But it's not going to limit the amount of sunshine you see. You may see a hazy sky, otherwise pretty clear through next Sunday. 100 to about 102 every single day going forward. And these forecast highs may change a little bit, just depending on the high pressure system, where it positions itself exactly, and where and how strong it is. Will tell us more about forecast highs, but I mean, despite that, it's still going to be hot, right? 102 by Thursday and Friday and next Saturday. So get ready for the forecast high. Hope you're having a wonderful night, guys. Perfect. Okay, double checking everything is working A-okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the forecast, and we'll put that on. Let's see, that a little longer. Yeah, so dangerous heat, guys. Heat advisories already in effect for tomorrow afternoon and Monday, and likely going to be the story until next Sunday. I mean, we're waiting for it to break down, but it looks like it's not going to. As we move into the middle of the month, July 15th is this time next weekend, next Saturday, and 102 is the forecast high. Again, that may change. It may be 103 to 104, depending on where exactly this heat high sets up across the region. Only thing to report besides that is a nice breeze between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're looking at south to southeast winds on the order of maybe 20 to 25 miles an hour at times, which will feel good, but that's, I don't know, because it's going to be 101 to 102 those days. So at least the air will be moving, but despite that, it is still going to be excessively hot and very dangerously humid, with those south winds continuing to pour in humidity, which is going to help index values go up to 110 at times. So be careful out there. That's the forecast. Be safe and have a wonderful Saturday night.